Aaron Rodgers for a few days. It's about time. It's Wednesday. So Aaron Rodgers is not going to play in the preseason finale. I'm okay with it. He's sitting the preseason for second straight year. He's not playing. But it's a little different this year. Because if you look at the early schedule for Pittsburgh, first game, Aaron Glenn, defensive guy, Jets. Next game, Mike McDonald, Seahawks. Third game, Mike Vrabel, defensive guy. Fourth game, best defensive coordinator in the league, in my opinion, Brian Flores. And he's not taking a preseason snap. He had an abbreviated offseason. So he's never taken a snap with DK Metcalf. He's never taken a live snap with Arthur Smith. PFF rates the offensive line at 21st. And for whatever reason, blame who you want, the Steelers have not consistently run the ball for about 6 years, maybe 8. And that's Aaron's reality. So I do think Pittsburgh needs to get off to a hot start. Because in Aaron Rodgers' career, there has always been one statistic. There has always been one statistic that is hard to figure out. Aaron Rodgers has the 6th most quarterback starts of all time. Yet he is tied for 25th in fourth quarter comebacks. Peyton Manning, 43. Marino Elway in the 30s. He has fewer than Derek Carr, Ryan Tannehill, Andy Dalton. Well, his teams didn't trail a lot. Did Peyton Manning's? Did Marino and Elway's? So why does Aaron need to start quickly? Because I've always used that stat, and it belies what I've always thought to be true. Aaron's personality changes based on the score and his performance in games.
Yeah, listen, I don't think we need to hyper-focus so much on the personality of Aaron Rodgers right now. Especially when trying to figure out how successful this Pittsburgh Steelers team is going to be and the importance of starting off strong. Listen, you can make the argument that every single team in the NFL needs to start off strong. You can make that argument about every single team, whether it's the Philadelphia Eagles, whether it's the Kansas City Chiefs, whether it's the Baltimore Ravens, Buffalo Bills, etc., etc. To me, the biggest thing is that it's not that the team as a whole necessarily needs to start off strong. You want the defense to start off strong. And if the offense is going to take a little bit of time to kind of get going for Aaron to get into rhythm, you don't want to have some of these weird games where you're losing 12-10 and it's because you can't get your defense going, right? Or excuse me, you can't get your offense going. Your defense put up a gem, holds a team to like 12 points, 14 points, 17 points, right? A nice low score, 1 touchdown and a whole bunch of field goals, but the offense just can't get going. Or, you know, they throw an interception and the defense does a great job of holding them to just to a long field goal. But then again, the offense can't now repay the favor. Like, that's something you don't want. Because then I think then people are, you know, you're going to start to kind of feel that energy of like, is our offense ever going to get going? Is Aaron going to get going? Like, what's the story? I don't think it's because like Aaron Rodgers is going to check out now and it's like, oh, the offense isn't good, we're not good. You know, like I don't think that's the case. I think they can start off slow or just not high powered, and if they're still winning some games, if they win 14-10, 17-14, or, you know, something like, you know, something along those lines, kind of in a lot of ways what they did with Justin Fields last year in the beginning of the season, where they won a lot of these like weird low scoring games with not very high quality offensive production. I think that's totally fair game, and giving Aaron Rodgers to, you know, time to get situated. I mean, I really loved after week 1 of last year, Mark Sanchez actually came on the herd, and he came on hot. He was like, nothing is ever as bad as it seems, and nothing is ever as great as it seems week 1 in the NFL. He's like, everyone always just goes crazy, and it's just like just not the way it works in the NFL. And it's something that I've always known, but I just appreciated how firm Mark Sanchez was in that moment when he was just very much like, he used some sort of analogy. I forget exactly what it was, but he was just pretty much like, and no matter what team you're watching, no matter what team you're rooting for, like everyone just needs to take a beat here. Like everyone just relax. And I'm sorry I roll my eyes because Brian Flores is not the best defensive coordinator in the NFL right now. That belongs to Fangio and Spags. I mean, like, come on, let's take a beat here as well for that. But I mean, yeah, it is. It's defense. Or excuse me, 3 defenses. And so going up against the Jets, like, I don't know, man. I'm trusting that Pittsburgh Steelers defense and Mike Tomlin to shut down Justin Fields. I believe in that very firmly. So it's just like that should be a win. Plus, I'm pretty sure Aaron Rodgers is going to be incredibly motivated to get that win as well. Seattle Seahawks, I think they're going to be sneaky good, like a lot better than maybe the average person might think they can be. But then you're talking about week 3, Drake May. Okay, young quarterback. He has to try to find his rhythm and his poise pretty early on. Don't know how much development really took place last year. And again, now you have a highly experienced defensive mind going up against a younger quarterback, which is something that I always talk about, where great defensive coaches almost always have the upper hand in that situation. And so it's like, okay, you can trust that Mike Tomlin, that defense should put up another great showing there. And then week 4, you're going up against another young quarterback. And again, it's the same thing holds true for Drake May. Now, don't get me wrong, I believe in Kevin O'Connell a lot more than I would believe in, Kevin O'Connell and a J.J. McCarthy duo there, especially when you're talking about dealing with Justin Jefferson. But then I think, depending on the suspension, Addison might not be there by week 4. I'd have to double check that. So again, it's the door's open there. Then you have the Cleveland Browns. Sorry, not afraid of that. Cincinnati Bengals. That'll be competitive. Divisional game. Who knows what's happening there. Packers should be competitive. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers and all of that. That's going to be probably a pretty big, intense, emotional game. Then you got the Colts. Colin has already pretty much knocked the Chargers out of the playoff hunt completely and doesn't believe in them at all now. So I mean, I don't know. It's totally doable. It's totally doable. Even if you get off to a slow-ish start, where you start off 1-3, let's say, right? Let's just say like a more harder scenario where you just can't get things going. You start off 1-3. I mean, going into the next 3 games, you could easily win the next 2 out of 3 games. And then you have the next batch of 3 games. And again, if you're actually getting in rhythm, you can win, the next 2 the next 2 out of 3 or 2 out of 4 games. Then it gets you're going to run into some teams like the Baltimore Ravens and the Buffalo Bills. Obviously not going to be easy. But again, you have the Cleveland Browns again. You have the Miami Dolphins. I mean, I don't know. I think there's room to struggle and still have a very successful season, I think, is ultimately what I'm trying to argue here. And there's no like specific stretch where it's like, oh boy, those first 3 weeks, you better take advantage. You better come away with some wins right there, because after that, it's just Chiefs, Ravens, Eagles, Bills. Like, that's not really the situation they have here. Even a harder game, relatively speaking, like against the Green Bay Packers, there's going to be massive incentive in that locker room, and obviously Aaron, for everyone to bring their ultimate A game there. And players rally behind that. They absolutely rise to the occasion. Most recently, we saw it with the Detroit Lions and Jared Goff going up against the Rams. And most recently, we saw it with Cliff Kingsbury with even with the coach, Cliff Kingsbury with the Washington Commanders going up against Arizona Cardinals. And that's why I said going into that game, I said this team is going to be on fire because they are going to want to have a huge win for Cliff Kingsbury. And people were like, oh, no, that's not true. That's not true. And after that game was over, it was all about Cliff Kingsbury in the locker room. And they were all celebrating. They were all cheering for each other. Like, that's what these players do. That's what this coaching staff does. That's what really unites them. So there's going to be some of that unification for not only the New York Jets, but also the Green Bay Packers as well. But especially the Packers more than the Jets. But at the same time, there's going to be a almost kind of a flip side with the Jets, because there's going to be kind of a pride factor of like, we're not letting Justin Fields beat us week 1. Like, no way. We're not allowing that, like the defense isn't gonna, take that, go quietly. So, and I guarantee you, unless everyone hates Aaron Rodgers by week 8, they are going to absolutely want to bring a big win there too. So they even have some pretty big incentives and motivation to like really stay focused and get going beyond just obviously, hey, we're trying to win and be the best team we can be. And again, do not overlook the importance of some of those moments throughout a season, because we consistently see the players and the coaches. Everyone always wants to downplay it. Everyone always wants to say, oh, it's just another game. It's just another game. It is never just another game. And anyone who's played sports, who's ever been able to float around to various teams, you experience that at like 10 years old. Have you ever played for like one team or one father, and now you're playing for another team and another father? Like, even when you're playing like just intramural, you're like, you want to beat the team that you were for before, right? Like, you want to beat your friend, whatever it is. Like that starts at like the youngest age possible, and it certainly doesn't go away when you're grown men and getting paid a gajillion dollars. So I think there's a lot of interesting punctuations throughout this season that I think actually can help them and facilitate them, with some breaks in between here and there, right? Coming off a bye, then going up against a team like the Cleveland Browns. It's just like, that is just an absolute gift to you. You're just like, here you go. You're going to have a nice bye. You're going to hit the refresh button. You had a good first 4 games. Going to be able to work out some issues that you may have had, get to rest up. And then you have a layup. You have the Cleveland Browns that you get to rock, and then go up against the Cincinnati Bengals, which should, in theory, be a much harder team. Like, it's actually a pretty smooth schedule. So I just don't think there needs to be this extra, extra sense that, oh boy, Steelers need to start off strong. Otherwise, Aaron Rodgers, he's checking out. I don't know, like this, that. The Steelers were just going to unravel. Like, I wholeheartedly 100% disagree with that. It's also not Mike Tomlin's culture, and it hasn't been Mike Tomlin. So you're good. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Pittsburgh Steelers and Aaron Rodgers? Do you think they need to start off strong this season? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.